Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and as promised, it's the next installment of Stories from Hell, my old local gaming store. I played Friday Night Magic there almost every single week for about 2 to 3 years, and then finally switched when a newer one opened up. Now, if you kind of want to experience what I did, I would recommend going to your local hardware store. It's usually where you can find this kind of item. Go to like the guns and ammo department, assuming you're not from some, backwards European place that bans guns and toddler proofs their entire country. And then they almost always have pepper spray. So buy, drop like $4 on a little pepper spray sprayer. It's okay if it's a little, the purse pistol, little pink, whatever. Just get whatever they got. Then go home, shuffle your deck, cut it once, deal yourself 7 cards, and then right as you pick it up, just pepper spray yourself right in the face. And the game will be approximately as enjoyable as it was playing at that local gaming store. Legally, I have to tell you that I don't actually recommend you do that. Also, seriously, Europe, grow up. Come on, really? You know who stopped the ISIS attack in Minnesota? A guy with a concealed carry permit who also was an NRA member and certified weapons instructor. He probably had like an eagle perched on his shoulder and then like a bacon cheeseburger in his other hand while he unloaded on that piece of crap. Merca power. Plus, everybody's like, oh my god, if you got guns everywhere, you'll go shoot each other. I'm so scared. Oh my god, guns are scary. I brought a gun pretty much every single day to that local gaming store and managed to not pull it out and shoot everybody. Now, just think about that for a second. If I can refrain from shooting those people at that local gaming store, certain people should probably be allowed to get a permit, get some training, and carry around a gun, okay? But anyway, that totally isn't what this channel's about. And like literally the next video has a gun in it, but still like deal with it. Anyway, without further gun rants, here's some more wonderful tales from my old local gaming store from hell. Now this first one is kind of understandable, but it's kind of not. I mean, I kind of get it because like I said, there was a giant group of people, like 15 to 20 people that were like super like GP level tryhards running nothing but top tier net decks, and they just like had to win. So every F&M was like, no smiling, no joking, no talking. I'm at the final top 8 of the GP, so they, like, that's cool. If that's how they want to play, I'll match it. I'll play that way too. Like, I'm not going to ruin somebody's play style. I'm perfectly okay with that. But here's where that didn't go so well, because F&M is still supposed to be pretty casual. Even Wizard says that. One guy, he was new. He had only been to 1 or 2 F&Ms, if not this being his first one. And he was running actually a pretty good deck. I think he actually beat me the first game. I totally stomped him the second game because, my decks are like no joke, especially back then. Like when Devotion was a thing and Theros was a thing. Yeah, my decks were not nice. They were not net decks, but they were not nice. They were very competitive, very hard to beat. Well, obviously, before the first game was even resolved, he started flipping up cards that were in the dual decks, which is a little bit of a problem. As you know, some of them aren't legal. I don't remember which exact cards they were. It was the ones that have the mechanic that let somebody back out of combat. So if you've seen it, it's those, and they're pretty powerful. Like I would ambush him and he'd be like, haha, instant that says target creature is removed from combat. And then I'm looking at the set symbol and I'm like, dude, that ain't legal. He's like, yeah, but I bought it off the shelf right now. This product just came out a month ago. I'm like, welcome to Wizards. Like, I don't want to be like rude about it or like take a crap on Wizards when he's getting into Magic the Gathering. I told him, hey, I got some bad news. Set symbol aside, because theoretically that set symbol is from the deck, the dual deck. So it's inherently not legal. Some of the cards from the deck are legal. Some of them are not. They're supposed to be played only against each other. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't want to buy like a whole booster box, and I didn't know about, like how many loose boosters should I buy to build a deck, or should I buy singles? I think he even told me he tried to buy singles from like a deck list, but of course the store didn't have any of them because their trading policy was crap and they never opened anything. He wasn't like familiar with eBay, kind of an older dude in his 50s. He was super cool too. He was super nice. He was actually there, I think, with his son, who was quite a bit younger. He wasn't playing, but he was just tagging along for fun and all that. So, the kind of people you want to see at F&M, just having fun, bringing the family, hanging out Friday night. And so I told him, yeah, the staff probably should have told you that not all of them are standard legal. I mean, obviously, that's like the first thing you say when you try to sell a dual deck. Or try not to sell a dual deck, but it might have just been, hey, he wants to buy a dual deck, let him buy a dual deck because we need money, 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 yay money, I love money. That's kind of the store's motto, actually. Oh my god, I should print that on a poster and tape it on the outside of their window. That would be awesome. Of course, now they know who did it. So I told them, okay, as soon as a card that's legal, as soon as a card that's not legal comes up, I'll just tell you, and then you just graveyard it and draw another one. No problem. Like, just replace it. I mean, yeah, he's effectively running like a 48 card deck at that point, but I wasn't just going to be like, haha, you're disqualified, and by the way, you're disqualified from the entire rest of the tournament too. That is so not friendly, but those cards would have kicked the crap out of me, so I already lost game 1 even without those cards, so if he had them, I wouldn't have won. So I wasn't about to lose 2 illegal cards, that are OP as balls. But he was cool with it. He was really super cool with it. But he was really pissed off at the staff. Now, as usual, I recommended, hey, if you want to, build a deck, you could just, if you wanted, borrow one of my decks, because I have 6 standard decks, and I wish they were all represented here because every other player hates them because they're devastatingly annoying and awful. I mean, I wish I could play with all the decks at once because I'd get like 10 really good deck ideas, build like 5 of them, and then I could only bring one at a time. And I really wanted to stomp people with those decks because that's what they were built to do. But he said, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Not a big deal. I did recommend, obviously, he buy a fat pack because then he has all the lands and then he has the boosters and he can just kind of get a central theme going and build it. And he said, well, what are the odds I'd get like a working 60-card deck out of one fat pack? And I said, well, not very good. And then I didn't know that much about like the starter decks and the intro decks and whatever. I never learned what those were. They weren't the product I would buy, obviously. I told him I know that there's another deck type that is 100% legal and standard. It's just not that powerful, but there's one you could buy and tweak a little bit with a couple cards, and then it would be legal and competitive. But yeah, he was like, oh, dude, you're being super cool about this. That's awesome. But we never saw him again, and I think I found out why. I tried to help him in between rounds, but I didn't have a whole lot of commons or uncommons. I picked up some off my friends that opened boosters, that they bought and stuff, tried to put something together, swap some stuff out, but he still had like 2 cards in there that were not legal. So the next round, he goes up against, for some reason, one of the best players there. And by best, I mean probably the stealthiest at cheating. More like he won the most of it. I would not say best. Holy crap, did he throw a fit when he saw the illegal cards. He's like, oh, that's illegal, gets right up, no leeway, doesn't ask if he's new, none of that, goes and tells the staff and tries to get him disqualified. The staff comes over and they're like, oh yeah, you got, illegal cards, oh, I don't know what to do about that, I mean, we can't really let you play with them, I don't know. And I was about to walk over and be like, hey, I just told him, graveyard it, replace it, just draw past it. Every time he draws it into his hand, reveal it, and then draw another card to draw past it. Not a big deal. But I was really I was right in the middle of an intense game with my own opponent that round, and I was just like, I don't know. So I don't know what they did about it, but I do know that we never saw the guy again. So way to be friendly, my crappy old LGS, driving away new players. That's brilliant. Not to mention sort of misleading them on what to buy. It's utterly ridiculous. So I got one more story, and this one takes the cake. This one's like the epitome of how things went week in and week out. A ton of the good players, and by good I mean the people who thought they were good and just were perpetual cheaters and net deckers, almost all of them smoked because they were just like that stereotype cliche, like the I don't care about my health, I'm so cool, I smoke, look at me, wow, 90s kid douchebags. Pulling up to F&M in like $1,000 Honda Civic with $5,000 worth of cards in the back of it. Coming back from the GP making excuses about why they went 0 and 8. And, cheating and trying to get in with the staff and, trade sharking, just douchebags. And they all just tended to smoke. So one guy, he just thought he could get away with anything and the whole world revolves around him, and no matter what he did, the staff wouldn't do anything. So he was outside smoking after going to the time limit. Literally, he was the last person. Him and his opponent went to the time limit, went to turns, and then some kind of result. I don't know, tie, win, loss, whatever. I have no idea. So he's like, okay, well, I'm still going outside to smoke. So they made the pairings immediately and printed them off, like within 30 seconds after the result was announced. So they probably had the pairings up before he even made it out the doors to go smoke. So you're probably thinking, what a irresponsible, selfish douchebag. Well, yeah, that describes him perfectly. So what ended up happening is his opponent, is standing there calling out his name because we didn't do table numbers, which is weird because there was like 40 or 50 people there, but most of them knew each other. I never bothered to learn anybody's names because I hated all of them. Oh, I knew my friends' names though. So the person goes, "Hey, do you know who this person is?" Because I like to help out. I occasionally know who some people are, and I'm like, yeah, I know that guy because he was on my like number one hated list. Also, he had a really easy to remember name, and I was like, dude, he was just here. Like he literally just got up from the table 60 seconds ago. He's probably in the bathroom. Just wait for him. You know, he's tall and skinny and looks like this. He's wearing this, whatever. And so he's waiting. Finally, it's been 5 minutes. And he gets up because he must have known about the 5-minute limit, or just 5 minutes was his own personal limit for sitting there staring at the wall. Gets up and tells the staff, dude, where is this guy? And so the staff's like, oh, he must have dropped. That's weird. So they report him as a win. And then they drop the other guy who's out smoking out of the tournament. They put him in as drop. Instead of, obviously just a loss, it's like like, here's the result. Oh, and he's dropping. Then he came back in, but I guess let me think. I don't remember how exactly this went down. I think they ended up playing the match, but he never told the staff. So the staff just said, oh, we'll take care of it in the computer system. But then he walks in and they start playing a match. So he didn't know that they already put him in as a 2-0 winner and dropped him. He was unaware that they did that. I think that's what happened. And so they played the match, and I think the obnoxious guy that everybody hates ended up winning. So he, I don't know, says he'll report it, and then somehow he never got up to report it, or they each thought each other would report it, so then the staff was never notified. So we get to round 3, and it turns out that the guy that everybody hates that smokes and is a selfish douchebag, he's not even on the sheet. So he goes up to the staff, and everybody's already sat down, all that. He finally makes his way up to like the last person to look at the sheet. And he's like, why am I not on it? Did you guys drop me? And they're like, yeah, we dropped you. What are you doing back here? We thought you left. You never showed up. He's like, no, I played against that guy and I won 2-0. Didn't he report it? And they're like, no. So people are already like making mulligan decisions and dropping land. And somehow they found a way to like re-add him to the system by like repairing him or something, which I thought was not possible at that point. But I don't know how they did it. So then guess what? We all had to get up and repair again. And they had to change his results too, because he actually won, not rage quit and dropped. So then the pairings were really screwed up and they wasted 10 more minutes of our time. And then guess what? The staff was complaining to everybody about how they needed to get out of the store and clean up as soon as possible because we're way over the time limit. Well, whose fault is that, I wonder? So that's 5 more pieces of crap that happened that I remembered. I'm not sure there's a whole lot more, but then again, I kind of am pretty sure there's a whole lot more. So there might be another one of these videos as I continue to remember stupid things that went down. I mean, I can think of plenty of stupid things that went down, but they weren't the local gaming store's fault. They were just players being dicks. I suppose that's kind of in this category too, though. So I don't know, it might just be a sequel. Either way, I'll see you guys next video.